Well, best-selling author and renowned motivational speaker Lisa Nichols and Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad fame will this weekend be sharing some practical solutions. Well, Nichols joined me in studio this evening to talk about how we can rise above all of what we're going through at the moment. Lisa, you've come
quite a bit.
At, yes, I would say, well, it's not the best time we're having, but I mean, we could use a talk by you right now. Just from what you've been hearing and what you know about South Africa and where we are at the moment.
Right.
I would like to hear from you just your experiences, what you've been through, and relate them to what we're going through.
Right. Well, I think, you know, I came through a state in my life where I thought that life couldn't get any worse. I was broke and broken. And I think being broke is easier than being broken. My spirit was broken. I didn't believe in myself. I was on government assistance. I didn't have money to put Pampers on my son. And I just felt like I didn't know where to find myself, my possibility. And the one thing that I keep remembering is that my past does not equal my future. So when I look at what's happening now, I look at what's going on, it's a critical time, but this moment doesn't equal forever. And I think at times, one of the things I kept doing is saying, if I can look up, I can get up. If I can look up, I can get up. And so I truly believe that resiliency is our birthright. Determination is something we all have in us, that we are built for abundance and prosperity. And these times are challenging here, but they're not forever.
Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of women, and you've heard about our particular struggles here this week, and men as well, you know, everybody going through the tough economic times might be sitting at home listening and feeling, but I can't pull myself out of where and what I'm feeling at the moment. Was there a thing that happened? Was there a moment for you? You know, something in a dream or something, an epiphany?
Well, it was actually very real. I was diagnosed as clinically depressed, and that shook me up. I knew I was sad, but I didn't know that I was clinically depressed. And in that moment, I realized I had forgotten who I am. I've forgotten whose I am. I've forgotten what my ancestors had gone through. And I got in the mirror, and I recommend you to do this. I got in the mirror and I completed 3 different sentences every single day for 6 months straight. Now, you may not do 6 months, but I was depressed. I was trying to save my life. The first sentence is, Lisa, I'm proud that you. I found the smallest thing to celebrate myself for, because we're all like 3-year-olds. What gets celebrated gets repeated. And the second thing was I forgave myself for one thing. I said, Lisa, I forgive you for. We're all carrying around these shackles of shame, blame, guilt, and regret. And I just began to slowly cut the shackles to all my shame, all my blame. And the third and final sentence was, Lisa, I commit to you that. It wasn't fast and it wasn't easy, but I slowly turned my crawl into a walk, my walk into a run, and then I turned my run into a soar. So the very first thing I would do is begin to get in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. Because in circumstances like this, we get overwhelmed with what's happening around us and believe that we're a victim to all of it.
And we also, I mean, you were a mom at the time.
Yes.
You are a mom. I
yes.
mean, you had a little boy. When you're doing this for other people, how do you take those moments? Because a lot of us spend our time, you know, doing for the other, doing for everybody else.
Yes.
We very, very rarely take that time.
Especially women.
Especially women. And when you do have spare time, you think, oh, I can't just sit here and read my book. What else can I be doing with this time?
Right. I think the first thing to realize is that the first law of nature is self-preservation, that self-care is not selfish. Self-care is your responsibility to your future. And the second thing is to say you have a long line of people that you're serving. Keep serving all those people. Just get at the front of your own line. Like, there's a long line that you're serving, and you can serve all of them, but can you put yourself at the front of your line? The last thing is, you can't fully serve from a half-empty cup, and you definitely can't serve from a bone-dry cup. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't even serve from a full cup. You should serve from your overflow. Serve from your saucer, not your cup, and you'll have gratitude while you're serving.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm going to practice that. I'm going to try that, even if it's a teacup.
I mean, a spoon.
As you know, it's human nature to always want to blame somebody else for our circumstances. Like, very easily now, I mean, you've heard the discussions we've had about what's going on. It's a trying week for us. We want to blame our government. We are skeptical about what we've heard from our president. We feel we're not supported. We feel like we're not getting the best. How do we, as a collective, because, like you say, you've got to start with yourself, but you've got to support your sister, your mother, your neighbor, you've got the women around you. We've got to, also, a lot of us have to be kind to our visitors who are coming from other African countries, people who are coming here to settle down. They will be our neighbor as well. How do we find it within ourselves to do all of that, what you've just told us to do?
I think everything begins with mindset. So we always want to do something first, but first we have to change our thinking, because your thinking it's controlling your behavior. So number one is to recognize you are your own rescue. Yes, there are plenty of people around us that can add value to it, but when it comes to mindset and belief systems, you are your own rescue. Second, that most people spend 80% of their time in their circle of concern, things that they cannot influence, and only 20% of their time in their circle of influence. Where leaders and people who are managing and driving their own life joy, they actually spend 80% of their time in their circle of influence, things you can change. When you wake up tomorrow morning, find out where you're putting all your mental real estate and things you have no influence in, or can you move your mental zip code and spend more time in your circle of influence. And it won't happen overnight. You'll slowly begin to spend more and more time in your circle of influence. I lived in my circle of concern, and I was a victim to everything around me. And when I began to move to my circle of influence, I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm driving my own car in my life. And so that's one of the first things is, what can you influence? I know you can influence a lot, but what can you influence? And are you influencing that in the way that serves you the best? Or are you looking at it? Are you talking about it? Are you complaining about it only? Are you watching the game, or are you in the game?
Okay, fantastic. Well, I don't know how much better advice you can get on a day like today. Lisa, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wish you all the luck with the summit, and I'm sure you're going to be changing lives at that one as well. And I suppose you've come at the end of a very trying week, so let's hope you have something to enjoy.
The end of one thing is the beginning of something else.
I hope.
So next week.
Yes. Thank you very much, Lisa Nichols.